When I was in film school, my Foundations of Western Thought teacher, Professor Lawrence, told us the story of her and her husband visiting a Native American village while on vacation with another couple. On their way out of the village, they stopped at the gift shop, and while her husband and friends went inside, she chose instead to sit on the porch and rest. There were two older Native men sitting there, and one asked how she'd enjoyed her visit. Well, she went on about everything they'd seen and enjoyed. When she paused, neither old man spoke up, so she'd continue with something else they'd experienced. She'd pause again, and there'd be a long silence, so she'd share another story from their time, this whole time thinking, well, this is quite odd. I mean, they've asked me about my time, but they don't really seem to want to talk about it. Well, her husband and friends came out of the gift shop, and she got up to leave, and the two old men stood and shook her hand and smiled like they just had the best time talking to her, the best conversation. It was very confusing, until later, when she learned that in these men's culture, the way people talk to each other is one person would have something to say, and so they would speak, and everyone else would listen to them, just listen. Not thinking about how they would respond, but just listening. When the speaker had said what they wanted to say, the speaker would stop. Then there would be a long silence where everyone now had the opportunity to think about what had been said. Eventually, someone else would think of something they would want to say, and they would begin speaking. And at that point, everyone else would stop thinking and start listening again. And she was so embarrassed because she realized she was not giving these men time to think or respond, because our busy culture abhors silence. Tonight's passage is Isaiah 50 and verse 4. Here it is in the NIV. The sovereign Lord has given me a well-instructed tongue to know the word that sustains the weary. He wakens me morning by morning, wakens my ear to listen like one being instructed. What does this say about God as creator? God's word instructs our tongue via the ear. God's word instructs our tongue via the ear. Now, I said that twice because you've got two ears. What does this say about human creativity? Do not listen to respond. Listen to understand. This applies to God and men. What obedience is God inviting me to from this passage? I need to invite more silence into my life. I'll start with 30 minutes of silence one day this week. And now I'll give you time to think about that.